am I really impressed, or am I just like face palming right now because of the fact they're actually running position for Ember Spirit? I don't know, but all right, this is the gameplay. There's a lot of funky stuff happening, and I don't get me wrong, I'm always a fan of just having some completely off the wall strategy, and we certainly got that here. But yeah, Costability, he does end up playing the safe lane Shadow Fiend, so we are likely going to see that right click, and I think that makes a lot of sense for them certainly. So. This will definitely shape up to be a very, very interesting game number one for many reasons.
Oh yeah, and so the interesting thing is, I believe, are they running this as, so it's going to be, so it's POS 3 Enigma, POS 4 Ember Spirit. I like that. The Enigma is going to have some flexibility, not just a black hole, right? We talked about this before, why it's a good idea. But yeah, the Ember, man, I told you, SA love this. I think they're the only region I've seen do it, and I've seen them do it in multiple phases of TIs, whether it's qualifiers. I think that they've even done it like in the group stage of a TI before. It is a decent pick because of the poke. Like, you've got an Enigma and you've got the Sleight of Fist, but I am very worried that this is the freest SF safe lane you could imagine. He's just going to Shadow Raise them down, and you're going to be left with a bunch of dead babies.
No, yeah, again, back to the point earlier I was talking about, he doesn't necessarily have the greatest support with him in the Chen, in my opinion. It's that regen that he's provided, that he would provide with the Divine Favor. It's not like that melee hero, like a Juggernaut or whatever, that you would have with the Chen, that, you know, it's giving him all that regen to work with. But it's still the fact he has that farm potential against the Eidolons of Enigma is going to make that difficult for him. I do think it'll still potentially work out pretty well. One other thing I want to go back to the Wyvern though, real quickly on the mid Wyvern. Now, the last time I want to say I saw this was Sumail playing it, if I'm not mistaken, for Enigma. In qualifiers. For some reason, I'm having a flashback to that, and it was impressive to watch. I mean, the idea that, you know, the farm that he got and how he's just able to make use of that Arctic Burn as a actually really good damage ability, that with a Splinter Blast as well. So I assume he's going to go more that aggressive play style, not necessarily level up the Cold Embrace until later on. We'll see, but yeah. So obviously excited to see Gunnar and what kind of plays he's able to make on this Wyvern.
It's interesting as well because the hero got nerfed, right? It got some tweaks. The most notable one is around Arctic Burn specifically. Like, at the start, it doesn't last 10 seconds anymore, but it does scale back up still, right? So it makes sense why it still works as a mid. Any weakness is offset. The bigger weakness is the fact that, like, the cast range got fumbled around for Cold Embrace. And what the heck?
He landed all 3 raises, and the Bramble Mace, I mean, the Bramble Mace positioning was perfect too, because, I mean, you look at where it is still now, it really forced Ember Spirit to move awkwardly. He ended up getting hit one initially, and all 3 raises were landed by Costability. So that's a first blood.
I'm facepalming right now, because if you look at Slane's items, you'll notice he did go for boots to open up with. So kills like that should never be happening, because you're meant to always evade. Like, he specifically went boots over Blightstone to open up this lane. 1, because you got an Enigma, so early pressure doesn't really happen against the SF. And 2, because it's an SF and you can't just go in and melee him, right? Same with the Chen. He's willing to trade out with a headdress start. So really, if you look at his items and you look what Ember's gone for with the Seer and Chains, he's not going to offer up much if you start getting brutalized like this. That's a very, very comfortable start for Costabile.
Yeah, and having the last thing about the Wyvern that, well, being pointed out and worth bringing up too is the piercing of the BKB. You know, we talked about that. They didn't necessarily have that yet, but now they even have that tool to take advantage of against the Enigma Black Hole. So makes even more sense. You know, again, it kind of goes back to just the more logic adding up as to why the mid Wyvern is coming out here for the side of nouns. But yeah, already with the 1-0 start, you look at the positioning. I mean, Costability is able to run at the Enigma and to start raising him up. So yeah, hey, I'm intrigued. Again, I think we'll go back to with this Ember Spirit position 4. I continue to sit here and think, like, in theory, craft, what makes it work? The shackles, I suppose. Is he going to go Sleight of Fist or Flame Guard, though? I can see both ways, but...
So, if you go for Flame Guard, like, you can easily get Shadow Raised twice in the entry, and you just lose it. I think that's always been the issue with this kind of matchup. Because remember, the base damage and Shadow Raise kills similarly. Venge going down bot, though, a little bit surprising there. Positioning off the mark slightly, and Z-Freak, we talked about how he was the standout in the last game, and already he's making an argument for him the first game of Tempest.
And you see this bottom lane, Primal V 7-0, Medusa 4-0, so certainly favoring nouns early on, especially with the kill on top of that. And behind, Zfreak's hunting that courier, almost got to it, but unable to take it out. He'll just come back to the lane though. Primal Beast, not necessarily in a worry. He doesn't have onslaught yet, but it doesn't matter.
But just to round out like your question, because it was an interruption to fully answer it, like the Flame Guard build doesn't work as a support very well because you're behind on levels. So the SF should have an edge, and if he's prioritizing the Shadow Rays, he'll usually hit you twice, which means Flame Guard's instantly gone. It gets you in, but then you have no DPS.
I'm like sitting here and thinking like, well, I'm not gonna
It's mind-boggling, right?
Well, I'll bring it, you know, maybe later on we can kind of revisit that as we have more evidence to work with in terms of how this has actually worked out. Or not, for the side of Tempest. But
to me, the issue is like, the counter to Ember was the SF pick. Like that matchup can sometimes go either way, but it's very difficult for Ember. Like if Ember gets an edge, if there's like an early kill and he gets XP advantage, I think Embers can win. But otherwise, like it's just a default loss, and it almost feels like they thought they'd baited nouns when they picked this SF. But this is at least good. Yeah. This is actually a really good kill if they can get it. It's gonna be tight. Oh, he's got the sleight fist. There we go.
There you go. It's worth it. Position for Ember. Let's go.
Woohoo! It works. Pick it in all your pub games. Pick it against me, please. I shouldn't be doing this. I actually play POS for Ember. So,
yeah.
So I kind of understand the inside outs of this this hero in this role. Like one of the big counterpoints to why Ember Spirit is not a great pick is simply, if you're playing him in a POS 4 or POS 5 role, you're just not getting as much XP, and this is a very much XP-driven hero. A lot of his potential in the early mid-game is locked behind the scalability of his skills. And if you're playing 4 or a 5, you're just not getting much XP. It's why it's always been a desirable as a POS 2. In fact, for the longest period of time, it's really only been a POS 2. I think there was a time when we used to see POS 1 Ember, especially back in the Battle Fury spam days, but those are long in our past.
Apparently a team speak issue for the side of Tempest, but
Oops.
get that sorted out, and communication is important after all.
No, you don't need to. Like, it's Dota 2. You just use pings.
You have been denied.
The ping system is pretty solid, but
it's so good, man. Like it's so good how much you can understand from pings. I mean, some people get confused, but most of us get it.
Especially when they spam ping the same thing over and over
exactly.
and over again. I mean,
and they can even ping your items and stuff, right? It's like, oh, I get it. He thinks my items suck. He thinks I suck. That's great.
Yeah, no, I love it when I get pinged after I die, and you know they're just informing me how much time I have left on my resurrection, and over and over and over again.
And also they're letting you know that when you're back up, you still have your ultimate to use. It's great.
Yes, yeah, I'm glad that that's a part of the game. Top lane, there's just more harassment on the Enigma. He'll be fine, but you see even the Satyr Banisher picked up from Husky, so one of these creeps that is just damn annoying to deal with, and that purge is something that's going to be effective in this lane too. So yeah, you just see every time they come up close, I mean, again, when Chen wasn't here, that was their opening, but as long as Chen's nearby, there's no way they can take out this jungle team.
Bingo. And another thing to kind of think about is what Draken's been forced to do. He went for the Urn, and I think he does want a Spirit Vessel this game, but it doesn't feel good to be rushing this. Like, you get the regen, and that's great. But don't get me wrong, but you're not going to get charges early on. This is the strong point. This lane maybe turns around for you at level 6, but until then, like, once this hit level 3 for the SF, he's in control here.
How's this mid matchup doing, by the way? We got Wyvern at 23 and 2. It's Leshrac at 20 to 9, so it is favoring the Leshrac slightly.
Yeah, but it should in the early levels because Wyvern's base damage starts off really low. And if you remember the first wave, like, Leshrac was already 5 last hits ahead. But this shows you just how quickly this evens up. Between the spam of the Splinter Blast and the amount of int you get per level in the Wyvern, you very quickly are able to compete.
So bottom lane right there, a bit of harassment, almost intimidation. For the Primal Vs, that's what he does. He tramples in your face and you start running away. So unable to catch, so as far as the kill is concerned, they avoided the Bramble Maze for the most part and make it out of there. But bottom lane, yeah, Primal Beast at 23-0, whereas Medusa's at 26-5. So Kataro has managed to have a decent time on this Medusa. Vengeful, not afraid to go up against the Dark Willow.
I'm just kind of watching Sladen in this game, just wondering like what the move is going to be. I think he has really been hard counted out. I'm not going to focus on it too much more until later. We said we'd assess it later, but make no mistake about it. Unless he can set up kills for other lanes, this Ember pick is going to feel pretty worthless in the early laning stage.
Speaking of kills, Moo, he's feeling some damage. He'll pop his uproar though, and that's the immediate turnaround. Yeah, he's fine.
Fun hero to play. Not so much to play against. It's actually really infuriating. Never ever really want to be picking a melee hero into him unless you're like Monkey King. That's why the ranged heroes can be pretty desirable, especially double ranged. I'm just waiting to see what Z-Freak does next, other than snipe couriers, because every time he bramble mazes, it feels like someone's going to die in this game.
Manage of landing it. Yeah, Z-Freak.
Sebas is top. That was interesting. Did he have a... So he didn't even get a rune. That's a pretty funky rotation to make, and it's actually going to cost him a life elsewhere. Barely alive.
Well, and I think that's kind of the play they're going for. They want levels on this Ember Sphere. That's the only thing that I can think of at this point, but it almost cost him his life, as you're pointing out, and that would have been absolutely tragic. At least he survived, and Sebas is like, okay, I got to come back in here. He's going to clean up the creep wave and gets ulted in his face. Meanwhile, the rotation over from Dark Willow, however, it's not going to save her, going under as she still gets stunned despite the Shadow Realm.
Got greedy. They were hunting for Sladen. They couldn't find him in the end, so ends up turning into a little bit of a feed there. And I think you're right about the XP element to what they were doing there. The problem is like what that means. Is that kind of classic, you know, when your carry has a bad lane and then the other two lanes are good, and then you basically try to fix his lane and feed the game? That's usually what happens, because what's happening here is Sebas goes top, he's no longer getting that much XP or gold, right? He's now in a lane with another core. So you're just kind of sacrificing Lishrak's scalability.
I mean, we just saw right there. I'm very curious of the decision of Drake and here on this Enigma to middle lane. Yeah.
Sebas, he's buying hard as well. Oh, he couldn't get the Lightning Storm out quick enough. He actually has to show a lot of respect over here, especially the Splinter Blast. Nice sidestep will keep him alive. Dude, what is this mid lane turning into? Everyone is here.
Mid Wars, baby.
Well, I need more of this. Sebas, no way you get out of this one this time. Or maybe Fairy Fire turned around. He gets the kill on Wyvern. Now the hunt will continue. Sladen hasn't got the Sleight of Fist for 8 seconds, so Z-Freak will survive. But that was not how Nouns intended things to go down.
And I can't blame them. I mean, it felt like that was going to be a kill on Leshrac, and nothing was going to happen in return. But well played by the Leshrac to make the turn kill happen. It's going to be a death, though, in Ember Spirit eventually. Just took a long time. In fact, it's going to be a kill for Shadow Fiend. So that's honestly a pretty big team. Shadow Fiend's able to come over. It's going to kill bottom lane. Speaking of kills on a carry, Kataro. He's taking some smashes in the face, but Moo, he's dead.
Yeah, that's a little bit ambitious there. I mean, it's tempting when you see a Medusa on her own, but your Diamond Tower, the regen comes in. If Gunnar had been a little bit sooner, no, Gunnar, he's not even going to get the kill. He has to throw out the winner's curse. He's going to die for it. Mistakes most definitely made.
Yeah, I mean, he gets the kill, but he died first. So absolutely a crucial mistake. That is tunnel vision 101 right there. If I've ever seen it from the side of Nouns. They were so intent on getting that kill of Medusa. It was one thing for Moo to do what he did, but yeah, the Wyvern coming in and trying to dive for that kill. And you could tell, as soon as he realized that it wasn't enough damage, he turned back and he's like, oh crap, I really got to get this, but it's not going to happen. I mean, I guess it did, but dying for that is certainly not the trade you're hoping to have. So, hey, we got plenty of brawl in though, as we expect. We already have 10 hero kills coming up to the 10-minute mark. Shadow Fiend's in the jungle though.
What happened is basically Nouns panicked. I think the communication that came out is Moose said, Medusa's having a really good lane, we need to do something about it. And all you've done is accelerated the problem. Meanwhile, mid lane, accelerating Leshrac, another support offers up a kill.
Yeah. Not good news there.
On top though.
Talk about it. Oh, yeah, top lane. They are going in on Cosplay, but nope, it's not going to be enough. Draken ends up falling. Did he use a black hole? No, he still has his black hole. Dying though.
Yeah, there wasn't really a black hole opportunity there. Like you can see they were a little bit split. Also, he doesn't have a single point Midnight Pulse. You're underneath a tier 1 tower. It's just the greed of Enigma. Like you want to use the Eidolons early, you want to take towers, that's one of your big justifications, but it does usually come at a price.
A flash of inspiration.
So I was noticing though, yeah, speaking of Medusa, is having a good time, and the net worth reflects that. The Dragon Lance, the Yasha coming, so pretty typical stuff there as far as his build. On the other side, Shadow Fiend going the Mask of Madness. This is that right-click style of build, and he just completed it right there. Immediately queues up the Dragon Lance after the fact. But need him to certainly start coming online because this Medusa is going to be an issue, but really maybe more so the Leshrac than anything. Who's also having a very good time, but here's a flare smoke from the nouns. And they're heading to the bottom lane. They want to kill this Medusa.
And Sladen just shoot mid, so that's one less TP that can come in at a key point as well, where the Ember could offer up a lot of lockdown and mobility. This is going to be a big one. Not only would it be a kill, it would be a tower, but they sniff it out and immediately TP away.
I think they made it way too obvious there. They literally, no one was showing on the map like Shadow Fiend bottom lane. And it's just, it's one of those, like, there's not worth the risk for Medusa to keep pushing out that bottom lane and farming it. Of course he's going to TP away. So I understand the mentality of what they're on nouns, but good heads up from Tempest. They completely read the situation. And she goes over to her ancient stacks now and just starts farming there instead.
Agreed. It's a basic logic situation. The POS 1 just TP to this lane. Why is he TPing here? So they clearly want to take the tower. Well, I'm a Medusa. The only way they get the tower is if they're rotating additional heroes. Just a simple, basic read. Gets Tempest out of a jam before it can begin. And in the meantime, they were trying to probe for mid, but credit to him, a complete back off by Husky doesn't offer anything up. And in the end, no damage actually done to the Dire tier 1. So still an objective that Leshrac needs to target at some point. Usually when you pick Lesh, you're looking to close the map off very quickly from your opponents.
Whoa, Leshrac has a Bloodstone queued up. We never see it now.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I went whoa because I thought you were about to say he has Bloodstone already. I was like, what? That would be the impressive detail.
Yes. No, he's making a little bit of a joke there because, again, like the one hero it's just really good on, especially that's relevant. So it is.
Yeah, can we get some like diversification? Like if you're a Leshrac and you really want lifesteal, build a Mask of Madness. Come on, impress me.
No, don't do that. Never do that.
I mean, think about it. Like the movement speed, you're already so fast.
It's flawless logic, KP. There's no way to.
Because more of the same thing is good, you know?
Yes.
Like, remember what we said earlier? Don't jack of all trades, play to your advantage. All right, I'm going to stop now. So, Witchblade is online for the Wyvern. Virtus.pro coming soon. And that's when you're going to see these lanes start to really pivot in favor of nouns. Especially considering they've still got a Medusa that needs a lot of farm. Like, if you actually look at Tempest draft, it's meant to peak a lot later than nouns. Nouns, around the 20-minute mark, want to blitz the map, taking out most of the outer towers, and be looking towards Roche. Roche that is feasible because they picked this possible SF.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely something that they can do pretty quickly. If they get the opportunity for a mid lane, you can tell, again, they want to kill this Leshrac as Shadow Fiend will show up. They got the Wyvern TP into the trees, but once again, somewhat sniffed out, and haste on Leshrac certainly helps. Keep his distance. A lot of avoiding going on, and feels like maybe to the benefit of Tempest as Medusa continues to farm away, but Shadow Fiend is certainly respectable in his own right. In fact, going to take a stun by the Vengeful there, and not much more going to come of it, but you can feel it. Nouns wants to fight. They're grouping up as 5, and now they're going hunting.
Oh, look at Sladen. He's about to get baited. Moves waiting, but instead they actually commit the Winner's Curse, so they don't want to waste any time messing around. With 5 heroes here, they want a quick kill into a tower. They might even get it.
If they get the tower kill, I think that curse is worth it for sure. But that's a position for Ember. I want to really remind people that's not your mid Ember that we're used to seeing. So I don't. They used a lot right there. The curse being the big one. We'll see what comes of this now. I think that's going to really determine whether or not it's worth it. And Leshrac kill would absolutely be big. Onslaught in, to stop.
Bloodstone though.
Throwing him down. That Bloodstone, it is ridiculous. He's staying alive for the time being, and it's hard to fight into it, but they're keeping his distance, and he eventually will fall. So the answer is yes, it was worth it.
Yeah, it works out in the end. It's just so hard to actually lifesteal off these creeps. You notice they moved the heroes away. That's what would have kept him alive. Really big kill. Now follow-ups as well. Draken chased on 2. Roll through Moo, able to just chase him down with the onslaught, and a follow-up kill coming his way as Katyu stuck on the spot. 1 foul tap needed. They can't find it, or maybe they can, and the Terrorize ensures that Medusa gets nothing in return.
Yeah, there you go. Now it's really accelerating now, as they're certainly feeling out the situation, understandably, with that Medusa farming away on the other side. And Hostability is also in a much more comfortable place to fight, right? The Mask of Madness, but the Dragonlance to go with it. That kind of was that moment of clarity in the sense of, all right, let's get these plays going now, get some kills middle lane.
This is too much confidence out of Sebas. Moo's going to back away. Winner's Curse going to come out to protect Moo, and the damage from Z-Freak gives his life over. In exchange, Witchblade isn't going to be good enough to finish it off. He is going to live. Gunnar has to retreat away, and even Sladine will find his way out to the north side.
That is crazy. He escaped right there. I mean, the fact that they got one of those on both of them, pretty absurd. Oh, the onslaught hit! Enigma just falls over, and now they're gonna fight. Well, maybe the Bloodstone. The Bloodstone keeping him alive, which is so much. He's gonna heal up. However, now he's in trouble. The Pulverize smackdown, the swap out from Vengeful. It's not gonna save him. Finally, they kill the raid boss.
Ice Frog, we need to have a very prolonged conversation about Bloodstone. The only Bloodstone that seems to be brimful of blood, I know it doesn't get charged anymore, is Leshrax. I mean, that was absurd to think how long he was lasting there. No other hero would last that long. Not an int hero anyway, but just shows you what you were talking about earlier. Like, surprise, surprise, the Bloodstone pickup. The impressive part, the biggest surprise though, is despite that Bloodstone being online, the way that Mu is constantly just diving in and tanking it to Pulverize, and the damage that is coming in return.
But always got to keep an eye on, right? Medusa, she hasn't been in these fights. It's more of Tempest is doing this 4-1 strategy of we'll fight around the Medusa. They may be losing those fights as a result, but they're continuing to buy more and more time for Kataro to just enhance that farm. And it is being enhanced quite a bit. He's now up to over that 10,000 worth mark. The Eye of Scotty has been queued up, already making his way to that with the Manta and Dragonlance online. So it still feels like that now certainly isn't a very capable spot right now. It need to keep fighting though, is the name of the game. BKB on Shadow Fiend, it's coming up. Maybe when he picks that up, then another smoke play coming.
Yeah, but in the meantime, they're going to forfeit their tier 1 mid, which is going to open up a lot of this map. However, Sebas getting incredibly aggressive here. Celine trying to follow up, but look who's coming in from the side. Mu charges around. He's found an Ember Spirit, and that's going to be a freebie. Pulverize, such a low cooldown, he'll commit it for anything.
I just love that animation of that ability.
It's so fun.
Hilarious.
Smash, smash, smash. And speaking of smash, Sebas, he goes in deep. May have been a mistake though. The damage coming in return. Swap out to save, but the Requiem pushing him away. Stuck on the spot. Follow-up is a beaut. Medusa does not save the day. 3 now dead on the side of Tempest, and the rest in full retreat.
That synergy of the Dark Willow, Bramble Maze, and the Requiem from Call of Duty was great. I mean, it didn't do a lot of damage because of the distance, but it feared them into the Bramble Maze to stun to set up another kill. And there's again the Pulverize, that short cooldown as we talked about. Enigma going to be run down. The urn is up. Draken managing to be alive for the time being. The backlines, Medusa, she's standing her ground. She's going to kill her teammate though, thanks to the curse. And now Katara out of mana. He is certainly dead. Even they're tipping him. The double tip. And now it's Roshan time.
I'd tip him too. He's had 18 minutes of free farm. He even got fed some kills, and yet still Medusa can do nothing. And good God, the way that they are just plummeting forward. The power Primal Beast compels you, folks. That's all I'm going to say. Onslaught, Pulverize, low cooldown abilities. And notice that Enigma has not been able to cast a Black Hole. He's not been able to play the game, right? And that can work, by the way. The idea of holding Black Hole isn't the worst. It's an insurance policy. The problem with that concept is it's only an insurance policy if it stops them from diving you, which so far it has failed to do.
It absolutely has. Now it is not afraid, and well, Primal Beast, certainly a big reason for that, who actually has a BKB and 200 gold. He's going to get it here. Just think about already annoying and intimidating he's being in those back lines, getting into the target pulverizing, the BKB thrown up. Suddenly Leshrac isn't nearly as scary as well. That's the only target that it feels like is, okay, you know, we got to make sure to kill him quickly, especially with the Bloodstone, which is easier said than done. But now with the BKB, he can really stand in there and force Leshrac to back off, if anything, unlike he's been doing, where he can play a bit more aggressive currently.
And meanwhile, your solution to all this is like what? The Enigma? Okay, so to stop people huffing the copium, I respect some SA love, but we gotta have a little bit of chill time to really process this. This Enigma cannot do anything in this game. Even if he gets a BKB, sure, he stops Pulverize. This still Winter's Curse. Also, he then needs Initiation, so he needs a Blink Dagger on top of that, but there's still Winter's Curse, right? Unless they can find Gunnar, they cannot actually fight at all. And Gunnar has done a great job, especially the way he's utilized his build, of just staying on the edge. He's never really revealing himself until his team fully commits. And I think what makes this draft work so well is the move factor again. It's just a hero that can go in, discover everyone, and all of a sudden you're too busy reacting to him, you can't even go looking for the Wyvern.
Yeah. That or the Shadow Fiend. I mean, those two cores are just able to sit back comfortably. And I also go back to, again, we're used to seeing the Terrorize combo with the Bramble Maze from a Dark Willow. But yeah, you throw the Requiem on top of that, bringing its own fear effect, and we saw the synergy of it last fight as well. That's something else they're having to deal with. That's another kill, by the way, on his Sladen, as gets picked up in the bottom lane thanks to Winter Wyvern. And meanwhile, Smoke Play heading top for now. There's going to be illusions. The onslaught of the backline cell. We've said this before. Moog gets in there. It's a dead Vengeful. It's just going to go the other way. Says, yes, chase me, not my cores, because I'm just a support.
So Gunner from south to north, he's always involved. One side of the map, then another, and ends up with a double kill. This guy is everywhere, like I was talking about. And now they found a bigger one, potentially. Medusa in trouble. Moog coming through. Perfect time at the end of the Stone Gaze. Pulverized the locker on the spot. Requiem follow-up as well. Pretty damn tanky, but they need an assistance. Draken comes in with a black hole, but instantly gets cancelled out. Z-Freak, a thorn in his side permanently. Kataro always running away, and although he may live, his team will die for it.
I was a little concerned there. Shadow Fiend was trying to attack uphill constantly, was missing a lot of attacks, but it just didn't matter. Yeah, the stopping of the black hole immediately, that's a feels bad man for the Enigma, and now Sladen he's just dead too. I don't want to harp on it too much, but this Ember Spirit is just not yet.
Yeah, Ember Spirit's dead. Look at it. Look at he died. He's gone. It's so tragic when you lose your Ember this. Oh wait, no, don't worry, it's a Pol 6 Ember.
Yeah, that's I just don't see the game plan here for Tempest as far as what he's unfortunately providing. But again, that's neither here or there. There's nothing they can change about that. Having to work with what you got type of deal, right? And what they got is still a farmed Medusa, so there is that who has an Eye of Scotty now, at least when he's able to buy that point booster. But is he really the most intimidating in this game without the supporting cast really to help around the Medusa? It doesn't feel like he's necessarily that scary.
Yeah, so it's that case if you tanked up, you don't necessarily have the raw damage yet. You're also against a team that sustains really well. Like you've got these tanky frontliners, you've got double heal elements with the Cold Embrace as well as the Hand of God. Like there's just so many things for you to overcome. If Medusa ever gets 6-slot, yeah, sure. Like I don't know, yeah, 6-slot Medusa. I mean, we vibe him, we party. But like how many slots are filled for nouns by the time you get there, and on how many heroes is my issue.
And does nouns even let it remotely get close to that point? That's, I think, the other thing. And just the way they're continuing to posture for nouns, I mean, hell, you see right now, they've just taken over the Radiant jungle. Is every outer tower destroyed? I guess the top tier 2 is still up, but I guess top and middle one as well. So they'll eventually make their way in those areas. Again, they're taking over the Radiant jungle at the bottom currently, but naturally, they're going to start moving towards the middle of the map as well. So it just continues to be restricted on the other side. As I say that, there's a top push from that Ember Spirit. Meanwhile, swap play on the move. He's got BKB, but he's taking some good damage. Cold Embrace though.
Cold Embrace.
He's gonna get
I'm out.
Oh, Shadow
What hero? SF? Aegis is gone. He needs to fight. Requiem coming out just in time and the TP away.
No way.
He makes it out.
What? That shouldn't happen.
And he goes back to base to pick up a Shadow Blade. So it's like, all right, boys, I'm on my way back out. Won't take too long. What a reaction in that moment. The imminent panic. Aegis had only just expired, but he instantly realizes Diabolic Edict is a mere tickling. I can just leave.
Yep. Yeah, the BKB allowed him to TP out in the end. I can't believe he actually got out there. Wow. That was the opening for Tempest. If they kill the Shadow Fiend there after the Aegis was reclaimed, who knows how they accelerate from there, right? But they were able to do so. And now Nouns can kind of reset, take their time. Not too much time I go back to, but it's still fairly early on. We're only 25 minutes into this one, but a smoke play from Tempest. Got Vengeful up in the front.
Are they intentionally dangling this Ember? I mean, it does seem tempting. Like, if I'm Nouns right now, I'm like, that might be the freest kill I've ever seen on an Ember. But they are going to refuse. It's only a mere Pol 6 Ember. Don't want to commit too hard. It almost feels like they've sniffed this out. They do scout out the Medusa who's involved in the smoke. It looks like, actually, instead, Tempest, this is a farming smoke.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it turned into. Is Medusa just starts farming up in the jungle. He's buying. That's an Ember. I thought that was a Medusa still hanging around.
Draken.
Yeah.
They found him. Okay, this is going to be a slow and painful death. Or maybe not. Courtesy of Primal Beast. Tips the hat.
Ember Spirit attempted to take out the outpost in the meantime up here, but Shadow Fiend scares him off, so gets away before death for him. But yeah, taking out the Enigma. And back to farm we go. The Blink BKB combo, though, on Primal Beast. Such a good combo to have for him. The Yule's on Dark Willow. He's queuing up that Blink as well, so that could potentially be coming in. How about the Wyvern? I don't think we've mentioned this yet, but the Arctic Burn now it has a toggle,
Forever.
thanks to that Ags effect.
Forever and ever. Try and nerf this hero, but you forgot pretty much everything that matters, especially for a mid Wyvern, is exactly the same. It's actually kind of funny the way that they just thought the issue was going to be the early levels, but we're seeing this is still a vulgar pick when utilized correctly in the mid game. He's definitely doing a good job of that. I love the fact that he's always omnipresent. It means that no hero is really safe farming out. In fact, the only one who can kind of go anywhere right now is Guitaro, and that's simply because nouns don't want to fight it. It just takes too long. It's not an efficient play to try and get through this Medusa. Oh.
Yeah, not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, well, you killed the Ember, but I'm just checking the time. Oh, wait, no, Pulverize comes off cooldown before he respawns.
I'm looking at the Shadow Fiend, though. Level 20 is a big mark to keep in mind for him, too, getting those +3 damage per soul. So, I mean, he's already hitting pretty hard. That just really enhances it. So, I think that might be a mark that Nouns is going to try to get as soon as possible for him. Of course, Roshan is an objective, but it's a long Roshan.
Oh, I just saw the replay of what actually happened. So Ember was farming the creep camp, and the creeps didn't like the idea of dying. They threw a net on him. Which is why Mu was able to so easily kill what should be an elusive hero. An elusive hero that I'm still just not seeing the relevance of. I mean, he's gone for a 4-star. That's kind of nice, right? Like, but the issue is you want to feel like to a certain extent you can still go in and do stuff. You can't right now. Mu, is he going to be able to set up a kill here, though? Primal Beast in a little bit too deep. BKB gets activated, and he'll make his way out barely. He survives to the high ground. Did force a decent commitment there, actually, because it did reveal, I think that was a smoke movement, and actually Stone Gaze wasn't used, at least, so no big ultimates committed, and that means that Nouns won't have control of the Roach Pit. The bad news for Tempest is it's not up for almost 2 more minutes.
Yeah, it's a long Roshan, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, the fact that they weren't able to kill him despite locking him down before the BKB use as well as they did, that's, again, just a sign of a little bit behind here. But it's good that Nouns, at least for their side, that they're able to save the Primal Beast alive and now resetting as a team, coming back together and moving on out themselves. They're in smoked up. I will say it used the Hand of God from Chen, so that's a decent ability, and that's down for 80 more seconds.
And a big cooldown. Yeah, but you see the issue they have with the healing factor of Nouns, and this Urn never got upgraded because he needs so many items. There's no Spirit Vessel, and there is a Death on Venge though. Oh, good lord!
You know, I saw something about is Nouns going to be able to have damage? I don't have damage. I kind of chuckled at that because Shadow Fiend has damage. I go back to not only right now he's already dealing pretty good damage, but level 20, just wait. He can
and Mu holds them in place so long. You notice he's got this Ag Shard, so he has got the Rock Throw, which is pretty spooky. It stuns for almost 2 seconds, so no joke there. Also has a Blink, so he can very quickly just get in and insta-pulverize a primary target. See if he wants to target the mid lane, though. Fight coming in. Z-Freak able to back away. Winner's Curse is committed on the Medusa, and she's stuck on the spot. A lot of damage being done through the Mana Shield. Requiem follow up the Pulverize as well. Medusa is in a bind, and nobody can get her out. She's out of mana and out of life, and with the Medusa dead, Tempest have no way of fighting.
I mean, the crowd control is the biggest part of why they're able to make that kill happen, but yes, they do have enough damage is the absolute answer, and that's evident right there if it wasn't before. Vengeful Spirit dying as well, and Nouns, again, Roshan actually did just come up, so they are going to fall back, and heading towards top, no, Sladen's coming back as well, but this will be a free Roshan. Medusa out for 45 seconds, so nothing to worry about here if you're Nouns. Get that Aegis, also pick up that Shard, we'll see who they give it to. Another 2,000 gold already saved up for the Shadow Fiend, and that's a dead end. Said that before.
Yep. Yeah, I have to keep reminding myself he's a Pulse 6 Ember. I was like, oh, they got the Ember again. I was like, that's right, doesn't matter. But yeah, you're right on the damage thing, and you highlight that damage per soul coming out at level 20. This is before that. Costabile is close to that margin. He also just got his hands on an Ag Shard, which is incredibly effective. Gives you the crit, and also is another element of CC against this Medusa. unless Venge is in perfect location, I don't see how you ever even get Stone Gaze off. And if you remember in the draft, after we saw both sides, I said, I don't see how Kachu gets good position in these fights. There's way too much stuff to dodge. So where are you safe? Okay, well that might... Okay, as soon as I say that, Costabile refuses to die, though, gets to the high ground, courtesy of the assistance of Chen.
Okay, I mean, that was definitely a fearful moment for Nouns, but yeah, they played it appropriately. The supporting cast is there in time, and again, they do save him, as you mentioned, Chen specifically, helping keep him alive. But yeah, Vengeful with that reach of the swap, another 15 seconds before it's off cooldown. They can find the right target. It's like it's just going in. It's going to get the Jackal off on it. Chen is a follow with a magic missile. Cold Embrace still. Now the Vengeful Spirit going to be hit by the curse. Arctic Burn. Burn, baby, burn. Vengeful Spirit feeling it. The Requiem on the distance. Medusa feared back as a result, and Vengeful easy kill onto him. Down
Moo's coming.
A little bit. Moo is coming in, and he's got the BKB active. There's a smackdown on Enigma. 3 are dead. Medusa's like, team, where's my team?
Stun.
Save me, the stun. With the rock throw, the fear as well, and now the auto attack from Costabile. He's gonna have to BKB. He'll live, but at what cost?
I don't know if he lives. I actually think they can just kill him still. They're going.
Oh?
They're hunting in. Like, she has no mana. She's used BKB. Stone Gaze is finally popped. It will bait in Z-Freak close enough that he gets killed, but now you're gonna die. They can just go in, rock throw through, follow up as a Butte, and Tempest is just gone.
That rock throw, I know you talked about it earlier. That's actually, that is a good ability, man.
It's nasty.
From the Primal Beast.
It's the impact radius is pretty absurd, right? Like, you saw it there on the initial throw-in that clipped. It's just such a big AoE splash. It almost feels impossible to miss, unless you got true Stormtrooper aim. They do at least get through the life of the Aegis. However, it might come at a price. 4-staff does get them out. But even after that, like that, now what's your follow-up? Medusa's still dead for 50 seconds. Tier 2 in the mid is gone. Costabile instantly looking to hunt.
And that's not a big deal. I mean, he was low on mana anyways, frankly. It's kind of just gave him the reset that he was looking for. So now he's full life and full mana. He has that extra inventory slot, which, oh, by the way, turns into now a butterfly that he just completed. So, yeah, I don't think that death is of any concern if you're now to what just happened right there. You talked about Medusa is staying dead yet still longer, another 25 more seconds. Did pick up the Chrysalis prior to that fight. Going to try to go for that Daedalus, so... If she's able to stand there, then, you know, dish out those multi-shots, then certainly damage is by potential, but very much so a case of much easier said than done. And like I said, it goes back to you need to have some sort of supporting cast around the They just simply continue to not have that.
Poor little Ember. He's like, maybe I can help by getting an outpost. Not even that seems feasible in this game. It's just the problem they have is they are more and more falling behind this Medusa as their saving grace, and that wasn't the plan. At this stage, the Shrek was meant to be the dictator, right? That was meant to be the person drawing attention, but also getting things done. And I don't know about you, but I don't remember the last time I saw the Shrek being able to stand a fight at all.
No, I'm with you there. It was that one earlier on, you know, he popped the Bloodstone, like, holy crap, it's the Bloodstone Leshrac. We've seen this before. He just heals up. It's crazy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he almost died right there. Yeah, that was close.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily, little Wyvern here doesn't get the best division even on the high ground. Otherwise, that would have easily been a deadless rat. But I agree, like, the one absurd fight, but no scalability afterwards. And that's usually why we see saves for this pick. And once again, that Venge, I mean, I actually feel really bad for Kachi in this game. The work is cut out. You need to save the Medusa, you need to save the Leshrac, you need to try and set someone up for the Enigma. Just so much to do. And you can't do anything if you're dead.
No, if he had an Acceptor, maybe, but no, that ain't happening. So he is staying dead.
Oh,
there's a smack down the Requiem once again off in the back lines.
Wait, what's Medusa doing? Okay, this actually could just be game.
I think it just might be.
Katara can't leave. He can't leave. There's no way out. Yep, so BKB doesn't get you out. He TP'd here. There's no TP for 20 seconds, so he's just going to walk and be crushed. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just call GG, unless he can somehow miraculously turn this around. Chen, at least get Stone Gazed up, but the heal comes through, and Kataro is being toyed with.
And that's when you know it's just that concede button looking a little more tasty now, I'm sure, because that's that's a feels bad man certainly for Tempest, but Nouns continuing to play it smart. Again, take off the supporting caster around, give Medusa no chance at having that lockdown support to allow her to do the damage that she certainly can do with her farm. And that really was just perfect execution, that is. They kited her enough, they got them spread out on the other side, they take them off one by one. and then eventually went for the target on Medusa.
Can I just say I love that interaction as well, Pulverize and Cold Embrace. Like, you interrupt the Pulverizers, but it technically doesn't stop the spell, so they're just stunned on the spot. It's kind of an interesting pseudo kind of like damage reduction effect, right? Like, you can't physically kill the Primal Beast now. But not that they ever would in that stage. I mean, they just don't have the physical DPS outside the Medusa. And now, stuck on the high ground without her for 30 seconds, no buyback, not even close. And I'm sure Nouns realize it as well. But they're playing with their food. 22k net worth ahead. An abysmal kill score comparison, 9-39. Nouns are just willing to take their time.
Yeah, well, they're in no rush. I know that's a Medusa, so I guess there is a, we don't want this to go 60+ minutes rush, but there's still a lot of time until that. We're only at 36.5, so they don't need to force this. They could wait for a third Roshan. I would not be surprised if they do, and make that happen quickly, and then really try to secure the game off of that. So probably going to be the play. If in the meantime they're just going to see if anyone overextends and pick them off. And might have a chance here in the mid lane. You see Ghost Ability is popping the Silver Edge and the overextension. There we go.
Oh my god!
He dead.
Where did he go? He went back to his spirit, right? Oh, he is a spirit. Got it. Yeah, that's not pretty. What was that? Two-thirds of his health from the Necromastery crit from Silver Edge.
Yeah. So about that lack
respectable
of
health pool as well, right? Like he's 1600 HP. It's not that bad. It looks bad against that though. And something to kind of highlight here is if you look at the way that Tempest have built their heroes, it's simply now turned into how do I get the Medusa in or out? How do we keep her alive? How do we prolong a fight? That's what like the Force Stuff Neb's meant to do, right? Because he can go in, Force Stuff her away, and then just Remnant out. The problem is just all this CC saturation. Like, how are you meant to stand around this Medusa and support her when you have to dodge Terrorizers, you have to dodge Requiems, you have to dodge Winter's Curses, right? Not to mention this insane psychopath that is Primal Beast charging through the entire team.
Yeah. They don't have a way to effectively get in the back. And again, I hate to say it, but we haven't necessarily talked about this perspective where that's where the Ember Spirit just feels utterly useless. He's not that hero that can, like the Tuskar, for example, that we've seen multiple times even throughout the day, where that can get back there, start with a punch and be that chaos creator to really put the issue on the back lines to not let them just sit back and really auto attack like the Shadow Fiend has been doing. So Ember Spirit's not that. They don't have a hero that can do that. Ideally, I mean, yes, Enigma, the blank black hole, but we've seen how difficult that is to realistically get that off. It's just not happening either. So,
and not to beat this Ember to death. I mean, I think it's actually difficult to beat him to death more than what he's been in this game. But the idea behind the Ember and why I liked it as possible, and the way I do it in my pub games, so obviously a different kind of measurement, but it's a bait pick. It's meant to force your opponents to count you on the lane, and then it's like, oh, he's actually not a mid laner. But they had a great interchangeable lineup with the Shadow Fiend going into the safe lane. It just meant that instantly the Ember couldn't do anything in this game.
Right there, I thought Ember Spirit was certainly going to be in trouble again, but he does manage to get out before any jump happens. You can see they're pushing out.
And like, if the Ember's here, there's probably someone else here, because they realize that Sladine can't push a lane on his own after what happened last time he tried. So they must be playing around him, and you just see them move in. They're going to get some deep wards, and the problem that you now have with your Tempest is, like, usually the argument is, oh, we get down wards, they get down wards. Yeah, but you don't want to be here, right? You need to address Nouns, because Nouns are going to be on your side of the map. So Nouns now moving deeper and getting more vision is more beneficial than what Tempest is setting up for, unless they can just turn this into a Roche engagement, and it is a long spawn in Roche.
Yeah, it's. I think that's what Tempest was really hoping for, that maybe Roshan was like about to spawn right now or like a couple seconds before here, and that they could have caught Nouns going in and trying to think they had a free Roshan. Like, I think that was the ultimate mindset, but the fact it's another minute and a half, a very long respawn.
Oh no!
Yeah, that happened.
Is he coming or is he got? He just forced off. It turned him around because of his clicks, and then he Ogre Seal Totem back towards Gunner.
Well, he has buyback, so there's that at least. But they're gonna.
Yeah, but if you have buyback, you could Ogre Seal Club again, right? Gunner. Oh, that's a good kill if they can find it. Winter's Curse comes out in time though. Lishrak slowly killed off by the Medusa, and the Requiem bomb set up. Medusa still standing their ground, but the supporting cast is cleaned up. She's gone. And they still don't call it.
Yeah, not yet, at least. I mean, again, we said this about nouns in the game 1 against CK. It could be one of those. They're really trying to figure this out as far as a draft for game 2, whatever it is. But yeah, this game is definitely over. Nouns is just going to push here. You have Medusa down for another minute. It's just the Ember Spirit. Leshrac can buy back, but that ain't going to be much. So they're just going to push. I wouldn't be surprised if they go right for tier 4, honestly, rather than Mega Creep. But no, they are going to go for the Mega Creeps to secure it that way.
Yeah. Like, I'm kind of surprised that wasn't the moment, because that was everything, right? You had every opportunity to kill the Wyvern possible, but the healing alone, like, you just couldn't get through it. And if your Medusa can't kill there, where you have an ideal opening, like, when is she going to kill in this game? I mean, I feel like a negative Nelly, but I think they just drafted themselves into a corner here. And it was partially their own design and partially nouns countering them really well.
Oh, there's the Megas. Leshrac did buy back eventually. Medusa's up in 20. So
now, you do have a Medusa, so you can handle Megas, guys. It's okay. Like, just play nouns. Can you leave our base for 40 minutes?
That's likely not going to happen. I would hope not. Nouns, don't let that happen.
Okay, they renegotiate. 2 minutes? Sure. That seems reasonable, right? 2 minutes? Actually, no. Let's be real. There's a DD outside the Roche pit, as is all too true in TI form. So maybe like 30 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, again, there's been some insane comebacks in Dota's history, much bigger net worth than this even. So, and for a team, again, from their perspective, really trying to keep it at least somewhat positive here, that they understand that they were the underdogs overall in an event like this coming into it. They're just going to give it their all until the end, until the game's actually over. I can respect that, but.
It's looking like it might be over now, though.
Well,
yeah, Avenger's gone. Ember doesn't know if he's coming or going at any stage. At this stage, just discard the Ogre Seal Totem. Has killed you more than has helped. Follow-up should be there. Catyu at least trying to get his Venge highlight moments in, but everyone is going to be gone. They'll save the Medusa meal for last. On the backside, she can do nothing but TP away, and GG is finally called. 39,000 net worth lead, 43 minutes in the game. Noun will close out just game 1.
And Noun, I know we've used this word a lot, but it still stands true. Momentum, it continues to carry. And for them as well, it's like, hey, they were certainly having fun padding their stats throughout that game. A little more practice, a little more fine-tuning with how these fights would play out. But they get the victory. That's what matters, and a very decisive one. And so they're gonna go into game 2 now and on a 4-game win streak. A team that was 0-5.